Hey guys, in today's video we will be discussing the fictitious scenario of what if Plo Koon trained Anakin Skywalker. I know Plo is an absolute fan favorite amongst the fandom, so let's see how the Star Wars story we all know and love would change if he had taken Obi-Wan's role in training Anakin. For this to happen, let's alter a few precursors. In The Phantom Menace, when Obi-Wan is dueling Maul, let's say he leaps above him, but at the same time Kenobi moves his blade to slice the Dathomirian. Maul reacts with lightning fast speed, impaling Obi-Wan too. As the two land equal shots into each other's stomach, they both fall down the reactor pit to their deaths. When the news of this reached the Jedi Council, there was much sadness, and the immediate idea was that Anakin would not be trained. However, it was Plo who stood up in front of the council and explained that his potential was undeniable, and if he was the prophesied chosen one, the Order would be fools to not train him, despite his age. It is on that day that Plo Koon becomes Anakin Skywalker's master. Plo Koon is a Keldor who was born on the planet Dorin. He was brought into the Jedi Temple at a young age and trained to become a Jedi. His master was highly respected in the Jedi Order, which Plo Koon later became. Plo Koon was extremely powerful in the Force, and heavily gifted in the art of lightsaber dueling. It is said that Plo Koon is one of the only Jedi to be able to defeat Yoda in lightsaber combat. Plo Koon specialized in Form 5 fighting style, known as Demso, which was a widely used fighting style amongst the Jedi. It incorporates the defensive capabilities of Form 3, yet adds a layer of aggression to help finish fights more quickly. Plo Koon would take Anakin under his wing and train him for the next decade. He was taught Form 5, just like his master used, which was the perfect lightsaber combat style for Anakin. It helped him to control his anger and focus it into his dueling. Plo Koon was an incredible master to Anakin. He taught Anakin how to be respectful towards others in order to help and save them, which was the primary goal of the Jedi. But it was through Plo Koon that Anakin was able to learn to control his emotions, something that he lacked under Obi-Wan's teachings. Plo explained that he was able to care deeply for others, but must show control and focus. Plo Koon and Anakin would grow a strong bond together, somewhat of a father-son relationship. When Anakin is 15 years old, he and his master are sent back to Plo's home world of Dorin to protect the Queen, whose life has been threatened twice in the last month. Anakin was awed by the Dorin landscape, its colorful flora and large colorful mountains. The elder Jedi offers guidance and instills wisdom to his young Padawan, explaining the very things his master once told him over 3 centuries earlier. As the days turned into weeks and then months, it became clear that Master Plo Koon was forming a special attachment to the Queen's daughter, Princess Lorena. At this time, Plo Koon is around 380 years old, with the Queen's daughter also exceeding 300 years. The unspoken connection between them was evident to everyone, including Anakin, who had grown incredibly perceptive under his master's tutelage. Anakin observed the gentle kindness that Master Plo bestowed upon Princess Lorena, the way he would protect her, and the shared moments of laughter they enjoyed. Anakin could see Plo get nervous around the princess in a way he never had before, but it was also evident that Plo Koon's affection for the princess was tainted by guilt. Time passed on Dorin, and the threat against the royal family remained constant. Anakin and Plo Koon worked tirelessly, training the palace guards and enhancing the security measures. It was clear that the enemy was both cunning and relentless. After a year on Dorin, Anakin and Plo's relentless efforts finally paid off. They uncovered a group of traitors who had been orchestrating the assassination attempts and were ready to strike again. With unwavering determination and the power of the Force, they thwarted the traitors' plans, ensuring the royal family's safety. Before their departure from Dorin and back to the Jedi Temple, Princess Lorena approached Plo Koon, her eyes filled with a mix of longing and sorrow. She confessed her love for the Jedi Master, her plea for him to leave the Order and stay with her on Dorin. She believed they could build a life together, free from the constraints of the Jedi's strict code. Plo Koon was deeply moved by her words. He had found love and companionship in the most unexpected of places. This was something the Jedi Master had never experienced before. For a moment, he was tempted to accept her offer, to walk away from the Jedi Order and embrace a life with the woman he had come to care for so deeply. But he knew the weight of his responsibilities and the importance of the Jedi's mission to protect the galaxy from darkness. With a heavy heart, Plo Koon explained his decision to Princess Lorena. He exemplified the true traits of a Jedi, unwavering in his commitment to duty and selflessness. He let the love that he had found on Dorin, returning to the life of a Jedi. Anakin watched as Plo Koon walked away, heartbroken. He was the embodiment of a true Jedi. And Anakin was only inspired and longed to be just like his master. He saw in his master a commitment to a greater purpose, even at the cost of personal happiness. It was a lesson that would stay with Anakin as he continued his own journey becoming a Jedi Knight. Anakin's powers only developed under Plo's teachings, making him extremely powerful. Due to Plo Koon's wise and experienced life, he was able to teach Anakin more advanced techniques and better his abilities compared to Obi-Wan. This made Anakin more powerful than when he was trained by Obi-Wan. Anakin is sent to protect Padme Amidala after multiple assassination attempts were made on her life. The two felt a strong connection from the start. Although rooted in physical attraction, this eventually grew and they became absolutely obsessed with each other. It was just them alone on Padme's home world of Naboo. The chemistry between them was undeniable, leading to an intense, passionate connection that neither could deny, despite the Jedi's strict code. Anakin was taken to a childhood home where he met Padme's parents and sister, who also could see their connection. Anakin had fallen deeply in love with Padme Amidala, his heart torn between his affection for her and his duty as a Jedi. He found himself entangled in a web of emotions he didn't know how to navigate, and his thoughts often drifted back to his master, Plo Koon, and the love he had left behind on Dorin. Plo's ability to walk away from Princess Lorena and remain true to the Jedi Order weighed heavily on Anakin's mind, prompting him to seek guidance from his wise mentor. He explained everything to Master Plo, the feelings he felt for Padme, and asked what he should do about them. Plo was definitely shocked and a little worried, but extremely thankful that Anakin came and told him this. Plo encouraged Anakin to walk away from Padme, but Anakin couldn't do it. He hadn't been able to imagine a life without Padme. Master Plo was visibly concerned about Anakin and explains that he should be honest and speak to the council. He is a respected member and they will be able to offer him guidance. Anakin stands before the council on Coruscant and explains that he has fallen in love with Senator Padme Amidala. The room falls silent before Masters speak up, expressing their shock and surprise by this revelation. Plo Koon interjects, explaining that Anakin requires guidance from them and that this is why he has come to them. He reminds them that it is not forbidden to love as Anakin does, it's called being human. The Jedi Code states that it is forbidden to act on these feelings. With Anakin coming to the council and asking for their assistance, he hasn't broken the code, but instead being open and free, demonstrating how strong and compassionate he is towards the Order. One by one, multiple other council members detail similar stories from the past in an effort to educate the young Skywalker, how they have felt themselves conjure feelings towards another, and even doubt their position in the Jedi Order. But they remained committed to the cause of the Jedi, and knew that they had to give up another path in order to maintain balance within themselves, and peace in the galaxy. This inspired Anakin, as even the strongest members in the Order also went through this, and if he was to become one of the strongest members one day, he must do the same. The council nods in agreement as these stories are shared. Yoda congratulated Plo on his training of Anakin, but also says that Anakin will undergo private sessions with him, so that he can further nurture his own emotions and stay true to the Jedi. This was his Jedi trial. This was a difficult challenge for him to overcome, but due to his master's training, he did not give in to his attachments and stayed true to the Jedi code. This meant that Anakin and Padme never got married. Anakin had many sessions with Yoda on how to control his feelings so that they didn't consume him and he was able to move on. When the Clone Wars start, Anakin asks for an apprentice, to which Ahsoka Tano is assigned to him. This is poetic, as Anakin's master Plo Koon brought Ahsoka into the temple, and now Anakin would train her. Over the Clone Wars, the two grew very close to each other, and she became a powerful Jedi. She learned different traits from Anakin, due to him being taught by Plo. She was more respectful, didn't speak out of turn, and handled herself in a better manner compared to the original timeline. Though her reckless spirit and playful personality innate to Anakin Skywalker has passed on. Anakin and Plo would still go on missions together, fighting to protect the Republic. This war gave Anakin the exposure he needed to elevate his ability, to put everything he had been training for into practice over the last decade. Chancellor Palpatine, but also secretly Dark Lord of the Sith, had to change his plan accordingly to adjust for Anakin's upbringing. With Plo Koon as his master, there was absolutely zero chance that Anakin would be capable of turning to the dark side, and Sidious knew this. The older Anakin became, the less involved Palpatine was in his life, and there were no substantial changes in the boy's demeanor. But he was the chosen one, and if he didn't turn to the dark side, he would become a huge threat. Palpatine's plan was to kill Anakin during the execution of Order 66, knowing that this is the only plausible time for him to be murdered. The Clone Wars has reached its peak, and there was enough discontent and disillusionment in the galaxy for Palpatine to complete the final stage of his plan. As the execution of Order 66 loomed, Chancellor Palpatine orchestrated a mission that took Jedi Master Plo Koon and Anakin Skywalker away from Coruscant. The mission also involved the notorious group known as the Bad Batch, a genetically enhanced clone squad renowned for their unique abilities. The Jedi and the Bad Batch were dispatched to a remote planet on what they believed was a rescue mission. Unknown to them, the true purpose of this mission was to place them at a safe distance from Coruscant when Order 66 was executed so that Anakin couldn't stop it. Palpatine believed that the Bad Batch's unique genetic mutations would have the best chance of killing Anakin. The Bad Batch were the most powerful Republic soldiers next to the Jedi. Their tenacity, unpredictability, and strength as a team gave them the power to overcome some Jedi. As the fateful moment arrived, everything was in place. Dooku and Grievous had both been secretly moved into Coruscant. It was time for the end of the Jedi Order. Order 66 was initiated by Palpatine, and the galaxy was plunged into chaos. The Jedi Temple on Coruscant came under attack, and Jedi were hunted throughout the galaxy. Plo Koon, Anakin, and the Bad Batch remained on their mission, and when Sidious hung up his comlink after telling the Bad Batch to execute the order, he expected to momentarily hear of the Jedi's death. But this didn't happen. Due to the clones' genetic mutations, they were not affected by the special contingency orders. As they told the Jedi generals about the call they just received, they noticed Crosshair reach for his blaster, picking it up and aiming it directly at Anakin and Plo Koon. He began to fire at the Jedi, adhering to the orders his creator instilled in him. In the heat of the moment, the Bad Batch were forced to neutralize Crosshair to protect the Jedi and themselves. Crosshair was killed, along with thousands of Jedi in the temple. The Jedi knew that they had to return to Coruscant and help their fallen friends, whom they were sensing were perishing. They met up with Yoda aboard his Star Cruiser as the three of them flew back to Coruscant and towards the Jedi Temple. As they entered, the echoes of the past mixed with the grim present. The temple's halls, once filled with life, were now shrouded in death. As they delved deeper, they came upon a horrific sight. The treacherous Sith trio of Count Dooku, General Grievous, and the sinister Emperor Palpatine himself were in the midst of a gruesome assault on the few Jedi who had remained within the temple. The dark side permeated the air, and the clash of lightsabers and the cries of fallen Jedi echoed throughout the sacred halls. Yoda, Anakin, and Plo Koon knew they had to intervene. They ignited their lightsabers and charged into the fray. The duel that followed was fierce and intense, a battle between light and dark sides of the Force. Dooku's elegant saber techniques were met with Anakin's ferocity, Grievous's relentless strikes faced Plo Koon's calm expertise, and Palpatine's malevolent power was countered by Yoda's wisdom and agility. The temple's walls seemed to reverberate with the intensity of the conflict, but the Jedi's unity and determination proved stronger. They fought not only to protect the legacy of the Jedi Order, but also to honor the memory of their fallen comrades. Grievous was the first to fall from Plo Koon's blade, who then moved to assist his apprentice, Anakin Skywalker. Gradually, the tide turned in favor of the Jedi, and the Sith Lords fell before the Jedi's swords. Dooku met his end after Anakin disarmed and sliced him through the stomach. Rushing to aid Yoda, Sidious couldn't handle all three of them, and he too met his end within the hallowed halls of the temple, defeated by the combined strength of Anakin, Plo Koon, and Yoda. The battle had been won, but the Jedi Temple bore scars for the dark days that had befallen the galaxy. The temple would be fixed, and the Jedi would slowly rebuild until they reached their former size. With Palpatine dead, the Republic won the Clone Wars and brought peace to the galaxy. Anakin Skywalker lived out the remainder of his days happily. He had his master Plo Koon, who still missed Princess Lorena and still sometimes longed to leave the Order for her. Anakin followed in his master's footsteps and walked away from his love interest in Padme. He still had wonderful friends, such as Plo Koon and Ahsoka Tano, among other Jedi in the Order. The galaxy was finally saved from the Sith. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Plo Koon training Anakin is an interesting idea. It is no secret that Obi-Wan was the incorrect choice to train Anakin. He was far too young and inexperienced, and did not have the proper wisdom to be able to train the boy to harness his emotions. Because at the end of the day, this is what Star Wars is about. Who can harness Anakin's emotions the best, the Jedi or the Sith? If Plo Koon trained Anakin, I think he would be able to teach Anakin the true way to be a Jedi. Plo Koon is hundreds of years old and has trained countless Jedi during his life. He has seen it all and will be able to properly instill his wisdom in the boy. What do you guys think? Would Plo Koon have been able to train Anakin? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you all enjoyed, and may the Force be with you.